Hey guys, welcome to Learn Today IGCSE. This video is a tutorial for Mathematics Paper 4, Variant 4-2 from May June 2024 examinations. Question 1a. A fruit drink is made using 1.5 liters of apple juice and 450 milliliters of mango juice. Write the ratio of apple juice to mango juice in its simplest form. You have to pay attention here that the volume of both these drinks are in different units. So the first thing we're going to do is unit conversion. 1.5 liters would be 1500 milliliters and mango juice would be 450. And now we have the same unit. Both these values can be divided by 1500, giving us 10 to 3, which is the simplest form. Next, question B. 1 liter of fruit drink is shared between 3 cups. The amount in the cups is in the ratio 9 to 6 to 10. Calculate the number of millimeters in each cup. The volume given is in liter and we are asked to calculate in milliliters. So the first thing we're going to do is unit conversion. 1 liter is equivalent to 1000 milliliter. To find the amount, we're going to have to change this into a form of fraction. Adding up all the number of ratios will give us 25. And now we're just going to multiply the fraction with the total amount, which is 1000 milliliter. You can just insert these values in your calculator and you will get the volume for each cup. Next, question C. A shop buys bottles of fruit drink for $3.20 each. It sells them at a profit of 15%. Calculate the selling price of each bottle of fruit drink. Whenever you see the word of, it means multiplication. So let's first find out what is 15% out of $3.20. And that would be 48 cents. So that means that this is the profit that he has gained. So the selling price would be the original price adding up with the profit, which is $3.68. Next, question D. The number of bottles of fruit drink sold has grown exponentially at a constant rate of 2.5% per year. 5 years ago, the shop sold 16,620 bottles. Calculate the number of bottles sold this year. When you are asked on exponential growth, you can just simply apply the formula for compound interest. So 5 years ago would be the old amount, which is 16,620. R stands for the rate, which is 2.5%, and N stands for the number of years, which is 5. And the number of bottle sales would be 18,804. Question E. The bottles of juices are 18.5 centimeter tall, correct to the nearest millimeter. They are stored on shelves. The distance between the shelf is 23 centimeter, correct to nearest centimeter. Calculate the lower bound for the distance between the top of a bottle and the shelf above it. So this is the distance that we are looking for. Now, just to find the distance between the top of a bottle and the shelf, we're going to take the total length, subtracting the height of the bottle, and we will get the distance. However, we are asked to find for the lower bound for the distance, meaning we are looking for the smallest value possible for the distance. To get the smallest difference, we should look for the lower bound of 23 and the upper bound of 18.5. The lower bound for 23 can be obtained by subtracting 0.5 and the upper bound for 18.5 can be obtained by adding up with 0.05. Okay, now let's find the lower bound of the distance and you will get 3.95. Next, question 2. The diagram shows a straight line intersecting two parallel lines. Find the value of A and B. And to help us find these values, we can use the rule of corresponding angles. If you have two parallel lines, then we know that this angle and this angle are equal to each other. The next rule we can apply is that when you see two parallel lines in this shape, as if they are forming the shape of C, then we know that these two interior angles when added up together will give you 180 degrees. So this means that angle A sum up with 38 would give us 180. So that makes angle A 142 degrees. And the next rule that we can see here is the formation of alternate angle, which makes up the shape of Z, like this or like this. So this angle and this angle would be equal to each other. So that makes B also to be 142 degrees. Next, question B. Calculate the interior angle for a regular 12-sided polygon. To answer this is pretty simple. First of all, you need to remember the formula to find the sum of interior angles for polygon, and here representing the number of sides. So the sum of interior angle for this polygon is 1800. Since polygon means all the sides are equal, we can divide the sum of angles equally to each of its sides, which gives us 150 degree. So the interior angle here would be 150 degree. Just make sure that before your examinations you remember this formula. Next, question C. The diagram shows a circle with center O. The points M and N and P lie on the circumference of this circle. A and B is a tangent to the circle at M. Find the value of F and the value of G. Now, according to circle theorem, when you see a triangle inside of a circle, the angle over here is equivalent to the angle over here, or the angle over here is equivalent to the angle over here. So in this case, 56 degree, this angle is the same as this angle F. So that makes angle F to be 56 degree. You are not asked, but sometimes you will be asked to explain the theorem, and this would be the alternate segment theorem. As for the description or the explanation, you can say that the angle between a chord and a tangent is equal to the angle in the alternate segment. Now let's look for the angle at G. We can say that G is one of the interior angle for a triangle. Since this line and this line is a radius, it means that they would be equal. So that makes the triangle POM an isosceles triangle. So angle G and this angle would be the same. But we still need more information to find the value of G. So let's see if we can find the angle of this. Now another theorem that you have to know is that the angle subtended by an arc at the center is twice the angle at the circumference. So the angle F here is 2 times smaller than the angle over here. If the angle of F is 56 degree, that makes this angle to be 112 degree. And since we have an isosceles triangle, that means we can find the angle G and this one by subtracting 180 by 112, giving us 68 degree. So then we can split 68 degree into 2, making each of this angle to be 34 degree and 34 degree. So the value of G here would be 34 degree. Next, question D. The diagram shows a cyclic quadrilateral. Find the value of K. We have here a triangle. We know that the sum of the interior for a triangle makes up 180 degree. So that makes this angle over here to be 129 degree. Now in a cyclic quadrilateral, the angles opposite to each other will sum up to be 180 degree. So that makes K to be 51 degree, which is 180 take away 129. Next, question 3, part A. The table shows the time that each of 40 students takes to travel to school. Part 1. Calculate an estimate of the mean. The first thing you need to do is to find the mid value of these ranges. For the first one, it is 0 plus 10 divided by 2, so 5. Next, the same thing, 10 plus 25 divided by 2, 17.5, and repeat the same for the next two ranges. Then to find the mean, we're going to multiply each mid value with the frequency and then add them all together and divide them with the total number of frequency, which in this case is 40. And you will get a mean of 25.4375. Next, question part 2. On the grid, draw a histogram to show the information in the table. On the x-axis, it's the time in minutes that we already have on the table. But on the y-axis, we've got the frequency density, so we need to calculate the frequency density. And the formula for this is the frequency divided by the size of range. For the first box, the size range is the highest value take away the smallest value, which is 10 minus 0 equals to 10. And for the second box, the size is 25 minus 10, which is 15, and so on. So we will take the frequency divided by the class size. So the frequency density is 0.3, which is over here, and the class size is 10. So it's going to look like this. The next frequency density is 1.2, so somewhere here, but the class size is 15, so it will be from 10 to 25, like this. And just repeat the same step, and this is what you will get. Next, question part 3. 2 students are selected at random from the 40 students. Calculate the probability that one student takes more than 25 minutes and the other student takes 10 minutes or less to travel to school. So let's find the number of students which is more than 25 minutes and less than 10 minutes. The number of students more than 25 minutes, which is more than this, would be a total of 19 students. And the number of students of 10 and less minutes would be 3. So 19 out of 40 for more than 25 minutes and 3 out of 40 for less than equal to 10 minutes. Now 2 students are selected at random, and the keyword here is the word and. In probability, and means we're going to multiply the both probability. So the total probability here would be the probability more than 25 multiply with the probability of less than equal to 10 minutes. So that would be 19 over 40. However, for the next probability over here, we cannot write 30 over 40. The reason is because if we have already picked one student over here, then the total number of students left will only be 39. So the probability would be 3 out of 39 students right now. So the probability is going to be 19 over 260. Next question B. This is some information about the time that 200 people took to fill in a questionnaire. The longest time taken was 30 minutes, median 22, lower quartile 8, interquartile 19, and the range was 25. Question part A, write down the shortest time taken. Range means biggest value taking away the smallest value. So that would be 25. We have given here that the longest time was 30 minutes, which means that the shortest time here is 5 minutes. Okay, part 2, draw a box and whisker plot to show this information. This is what a box and whisker plot would look like. This is the point of the shortest time, this is the point of the longest time, this is the point of the median, this is the lower quartile, and this is the upper quartile. And the range between this is the interquartile range. So the shortest time was 5 and the longest time was 30. So I'm just going to draw a line like this. The median time was 22, so I'm going to draw a line like this over here to represent this line. The lower quartile was 8. So it will be over here to represent this line. The upper quartile was not given. However, we know that the interquartile range was 19. So that means the upper quartile would be 8 plus 19, which is 27. Over here like this. And just complete the plot by drawing a box like this. And you're done. Part 3. George says that 101 out of 200 people took more than 22 minutes to fill in the questionnaire. Explain why he is wrong. 101 out of 200 people is more than 50% out of the total. And the median here represents the mark of 50%, which is at 22. So this means that 100 people took more than 22 minutes and the balance remaining 100 people took less than 20 minutes. So the answer here is wrong because it should be 100 and not 101 people. Next, question 4, part A. The diagram shows a tank in the shape of a half cylinder of radius 12 cm and length 1 meter. The tank is fixed horizontally and is completely filled with water. Calculate the volume of water in the tank and give your answer to the correct nearest 10 cm cube. Okay, so we are going to look for the volume of water in the shape of a cylinder, meaning that you must know the formula for the volume of cylinder. And the formula for volume of cylinder is pi r square, which is the area of a circle, and multiply by the length of the cylinder. So meaning if the length is from here to here, that will be the value that we substitute. Since the volume of water filled is only half the cylinder, we're going to divide this by 2. So let's just substitute the value. The radius given is 12 and the length given is 1 meter. Remember that this is in centimeter and this is in meter. So we're going to change this to 100 centimeter and divide this by 2. And the volume is 22,620. Next question, part 2. Water is removed from the tank until the level of water is 6 cm below the top of the tank. The diagram shows the cross-section of the tank. Calculate the volume of water that is now in the tank. So remember that to calculate the volume of a cylinder, you're first going to have to find the area of the cross-section and then just multiply it by the length. So that's what we're going to do here. We're going to find the area of this shaded region and just multiply it by the length. So let's find out the area of the shaded region. So we know that this is the radius, which is 12 cm, and this is as well 12 cm. We do not have the value for the chord over here, so it's kind of impossible for us to jump into finding the area of the shaded region. However, what we can do instead is find the area of the unshaded region, and then later on we can just minus the area of the semicircle with the area of the unshaded region to get the shaded region. If we connect the center of the circle to the circumference, that would be our radius, which is 12 centimeter. So as we can see here, this is the shape of a triangle. The formula to find a triangle is usually the height multiplied by its length. Since we do not have the length, we have to use another formula, which is 1/2 AB sine C, making this our A, which is 6, B 12, and this here would be C. So the angle opposite to C is what we're going to be looking for. So to find the angle, we can use SOHCAHTOA. We know the adjacent to the angle, which is 6, and we have the hypotenuse, which is H. So we can use Ka. So the angle is going to be 60 degree. So now we can find the area of this triangle. But since we have the similar triangle on the other side, we can just multiply this by 2. Okay, now that we have gotten the area of the triangle, we are left to find the area of the sector. The formula to find the area of the sector is pretty simple. It's just the angle over 360 degree times pi r squared. So we need to find out what is the angle over here. Since this here is a right angle, if this is 60 degree, that means that the angle of the sector would be 30 degree. And we know that the radius is 12 centimeter. And remember that there is 2 sectors, so we'll just multiply by 2, giving us 24 pi. Okay, if we add this and this up together, now we have the area of the unshaded region, which is 137.7521 centimeter squared. So that means that the area of the shaded region would be the area of the entire semicircle, take away the area of this unshaded region. The area of the entire semicircle is pi r squared divided by 2 because it's half a circle, minus the area of the unshaded region, giving you 88.443 cm squared. So as explained earlier, the volume of water would be just the area of the shaded region multiplied by its length, which is 100 centimeter. And the volume would be 8,844.26. Next, question B. A rectangular fish tank with length 42 cm and width 35 cm is full of water. A stone lies at the bottom of the tank, and when the stone is removed from the tank, the depth of the water decreases by 0.2 centimeter. So meaning that if the depth was previously 4.2, now it has become 4 centimeter. The density of the stone is 2.2 gram per centimeter cube, and we are asked to calculate the mass. Now density is equal to mass divided by volume. So the mass of the stone would be the density of the stone by the volume of the stone. To find the volume of the stone, we can just calculate the water that was displaced by the stone, which will be the length 42 cm, multiply the width, and multiply the height of the water that was displaced, which was 0.2, which is 294 centimeter cube. Now we can just calculate the mass, which is 2.2 times 294, giving you a mass of 646 and 8 grams. Next question, part C. The diagram shows a cuboid ABCDEFGH. Calculate the angle that AG makes with the base of the cuboid. This is the base of the cuboid, and this is the line AG. So imagining just this, they want you to find the angle that AG, which is this line, makes with the base of the cuboid. We're going to have to come up with a triangle for questions like this, meaning that we'll connect the point G to the base of the cuboid where it lands at C. So here, like this, at C. And now from point A, we're going to connect to point C, giving you a triangle like this. So this is the angle that they're looking for, where the line AG makes the base over here. So we're looking for the angle GAC. We don't know the value of A to G, but we know the value of G to C is 15 centimeters. And we also don't have the value from A to C. However, we know that A to B is 8 centimeters and B to C is 12 centimeters, making this a right angle triangle, so we can find AC using Pythagoras theorem. Now that we have the value of AC, we can just substitute the value that we have over here. Now we can find the angle because we have the opposite and we have the adjacent value. So between SOHCAHTOA, we are going to use tangent. The opposite is 15 and the adjacent is 4 square root of 13. So just rearrange this.
and the angle would be 46.13. Next, question 5 part A, we are asked to simplify. This question is related to indices, and these are some law of indices that you should remember. And the law of indices for this question is similar to this rule, where A here is your base 25 and x. So 25 to the power of 3 over 2 and x to the power of 6 to the power of 3 over 2. So when you have power of inside and outside, you're going to multiply them with each other, like this. The power inside and the power outside will be multiplied with each other. You can just insert this in your calculator, giving us 125, and x, put this in your calculator, giving you 9. So the answer is 125x to the power of 9. Next, question B. These are the first 5 terms of a sequence. Find the nth term of the sequence. We can see that 36 is actually the product of 6 to the power of 2, and 216 is the product of 6 to the power of 3, and 6 is actually 6 to the power of 1. And any number to the power of 0 is 1. And 1 over 6 is just another way of writing 6 to the power negative 1. And these are the number of terms. So as you can see that the number of terms and power of is a difference of 2. So you can say 6 to the power of n and take away 2. So the next term would be 6 to the power of 4, which is the 6th term. So if I substitute this by 6, I would get 6 to the power of 4. So now you know that your progression is right. Next question, part C. Expand and simplify. So we have got 3 brackets over here, and let's solve the first 2. So we're just going to multiply like this. And we can simplify this negative 3x plus 4x to become 1x. Okay, now that we have simplified the first 2 brackets like this, we can open up with the third bracket. Now we have opened the bracket, we can simplify the similar terms. And this is your final answer. Next, question D, part 1. Show that this equation is equal to x simplifies to this equation. Since we have a fraction over here, the first thing we're going to do is change this equation into a linear equation, meaning that we're going to get rid of the denominator. To do that, we can multiply the entire equation with the denominator, which is x minus 2. So 3x plus 5 multiply x minus 2 will give you this, plus 7 over x minus 2 multiply x minus 2. We can just cross it out, leaving us with 7 equal to x multiply with x minus 2 will give us x squared minus 2x. Now we'll rearrange everything to the left side like this. And solving the similar term, you will be left like this, which simplifies to 2x squared plus x minus 3. Next question, part 2. Solve by factorization 2x squared plus x minus 3. So when you have a quadratic equation and you are asked to factorize, that means you're going to have to change the equation into 2 brackets like this. If you use the shortcut in your calculator, you'll get the first value of x equal to 1 and the second value of x is negative 3 over 2. So we will just go backwards. If x is equal to 1, then this will be x minus 1, because if x minus 1 equal to 0, then x would be 1 over here. And next is x equals to negative 3 over 2. So we will try to move backwards, bringing 2 to this side. So we had 2x minus 3, and bringing negative 3 to this side, it means that it was originally 2x minus 3 equal to 0. So this is how you factorize, and the 2 values of x is 1 and negative 3 over 2. Next question, part E. A solid cylinder has base radius x and height 3x. Like this, the total surface area of the cylinder is the same as the total surface area of a solid hemisphere of radius 5y. Show that x squared equals to 75y squared over 8. So the surface area of cylinder is equal to the surface area of a hemisphere. The surface area of the cylinder includes 2 bases, and the bases are in the shape of a circle. To find the area of a circle, it's pi r square, and since you have 2 of them, we can just put a 2 here, and it includes the total surface area of this circle part, which is 2 pi r h. And for the hemisphere, the surface area for the sphere is given, but since it's only half, we're going to divide this by 2, leaving us with 2 pi r square. So that would be the outer part of the sphere. However, since we are making this into half, don't forget to also include the surface area of this circle. And for circle, it will be pi r square. Now let's substitute the value of the radius and the height into the formula. Now let's simplify on each side. We've got here 2 pi x squared, and we've got 2 pi x times 3x giving us 3x squared, and 2 times 3 would give us 6. So we got 6 pi x squared here. We've got 5 squared, which is 25, multiplied 2 would be 50 pi, and y squared. And then over here we've got 5 squared, which is 25, and then pi and y squared. Pi x squared and pi x squared is the same term, so we can just add this together, leaving us with 8 pi x squared. Pi y squared is the same term, so we can just add this up, giving us 75 pi y squared. There's pi on both sides and we can cancel it. And now x squared is equal to 8, bringing to the other side, giving us 75 y squared divided by 8, which is same as this.